Good morning. My name is Manuel Hernandez, and today's date is November 5th, 2017. And today I will be going over the biochemical testing for microbial identification, carbohydrate fermentation testing. In this lab, we have 6 vials of the phenol red broth. Um, we also have 3 plastic tubes containing glucose, fructose, and mannitol. And we also had to retrieve our Staphylococcus epidermidis and our Staphylococcus cerevisiae, which is the yeast incubation solutions that we had for weeks prior. In this lab, what we had to do was put the glucose, fructose, and mannitol into the phenol red broths. All 6 vials were labeled either with Staphylococcus epidermidis and the fructose, glucose, or mannitol. And in each of those tubes, as stated in the vials, we will be putting the incubated yeast and epidermidis into each of the phenol red broths, respectively. In this lab, we are utilizing the phenol red broth to test the pH of the solution. So as the lab started, you take your phenol red broth, which was red at one point, you insert the glucose, fructose, or mannitol, half of it, and then the other half in its counterpart, and then you were to put 4 droplets of either Staphylococcus epidermidis or the cerevisiae or the yeast. And after doing so, you allowed it to settle into the broth, and then you inserted a Durham tube into the phenol red broth, and you had to remove the bubbles, which it took a little bit of time just to receive the bubbles, let the bubbles kind of settle out of the test tube. But after 24-hour incubation, for the Staphylococcus epidermidis, it had, after 24 hours, it stayed as in my pictures, the glucose and fructose had an orange tint, whereas the mannitol had a red, non-fermented hue to it. For the glucose and fructose, it was orange, but due to the fire, as you see in the news now in North Ventura, where I'm currently located in the Port Hueneme Sea Base area, I had to get evacuated. So in travel, I'd say another 24 hours later, they became an orange and a yellow tint, unfortunately. But in the lab, the Staphylococcus cerevisiae, which is the yeast, all had a similar result. So from a phenol red broth with the respective fructose, glucose, or mannitol, inserting the yeast, 4 droplets in each vial, after 24 hours, they immediately turned yellow, thus stating that it is a higher acidic balance as far as the pH. Now, for this lab, after 24 hours, you wanted to observe the color to get a judge of the fermentation acidity, as well as the Durham tube to see if there is any acid production, which would be symbolized by having bubbles within the test tube inside of the vial. Now, most of these have started to form a bubble, but I want to say due to the travel, maybe they had been shaking a little too much, creating a bubble. So at least after 24 hours, there was no acid production in any of the test tubes. But after about 48 hours, you are starting to see acid production within every test vial except the cerevisiae mannitol and the epidermidis fructose, which I don't believe is a fair judgment on the acid production. So all in all, with this lab, uh, it was fairly straightforward with a short incubation period. Um, I did have a delay as to the evacuation, but all in all, my family and I are safe. Uh, but uh, it was a successful lab, and that'll be it. Thank you.